Longtime cross-country coach here at Clarion University, coming off one of the best seasons in recent memory at Clarion. It's Eric Laughlin. Eric, how we doing?
How are you doing, sir?
Good, fantastic. Put that headset on. Woo! All right. I'm having a good time. Are you having a good time?
I'm having an awesome time, thank you.
I think 50% of the people in here work in the athletics department right now, and they seem to be having a good time as well, which is important.
Hey, every day we have a great time up in the athletic department.
We have to. I mean,
Absolutely.
we literally administer the playing of games
Absolutely.
in competition.
Hey.
So it's important to stay loose, to relax.
Absolutely. Every single day.
You don't have to have your hand there. You can take your hand down. It's okay. We can't see your face in the camera with that hand there. Quit touching the headset.
Sorry.
Okay.
I got to make it fit. My head's small now, remember.
Okay, that's fine. You can bring the ears up a little bit. You are coming off one of the best seasons, the best season that you've had since you've been head coach of the program. Last year, your team was ranked consistently in the top 10 in the NCAA Atlantic region. You finished highly in the conference meet as well as in the Atlantic regional meet. Just talk about everything your team went through last year to have that level of success since we last spoke to you.
Yeah, I mean, last year, like I said, we were ranked in the top 10 in the Atlantic region. We ended up finishing 10th in the conference. And the PSAC conference that we're in, it's a very tough conference. I mean, it's definitely a grind. And, we kind of learned how to become good as a group, including me as a coach. I mean, we really went down to Lehigh where there was 43 teams down there. We went down there and we finished third overall down there. And from that point on, we learned how to be successful. And we just went with it from there. And that's kind of went into our indoor and outdoor season as well, to where we end up having like 95% of us have PRs in indoor and outdoor track season as well. Yeah,
that Paul Brown race at Lehigh, that really seemed to me like that was the launch pad for the rest of your season, where all of a sudden you're going, wow, they hung with and they beat some really good teams. And for the rest of the year, your team ran with that confidence and with that mentality.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, that just catapulted us into every week after that. And then, like I said, when the conference meet, we weren't – the way our conference is, like I said, it's so tough that usually we feel like we're a little overwhelmed when we get there. By the time we got there last year, we're like, okay, we belong here. And like I said, it carried us into our regional race and then into our indoor and outdoor track season as well. So, and that in turn has curtailed us into our fall camp week as well as where we're at now today too as well.
Yeah, that's the thing in the PSAC. If you're in the top 10 in the conference, you're probably in the top 10 in the region as well. It's such a difficult conference. It is so competitive year in and year out. Schools like Shippensburg, Edinburgh are always those teams that are up near the top, and you're fighting for those spots to try to keep up with all of those programs.
Right.
What's that success meant to the mindset of your team going into this year?
Well, I tell you, it seemed like, in the summertime, you give them a summer running program to do, and it's hit and miss what's going to occur. But it seemed like a lot of those guys embraced the workouts that was given to them this summer. And coming in, I feel like a lot of us were in a lot better shape from that success we had last year to where they embraced it, and now they took the next step, and now they're hungry, and they want to continue building on that success from last year. So,
Coach, let's talk about maybe then, has there been a difference in mindset or a difference in approach that you've seen from your athletes, how they've approached their training? Maybe now they've had that taste of success?
Yeah. I mean, I have, especially for this past, after cross-country season, we also run indoor and outdoor track, and I think they took that success and took it seriously over Christmas break. And it's like every year you just got to expand and get a little bit better. And, yeah. So I lost my train of thought there for a second.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Now coming into this year, so like the preseason rankings went out there, and it's like took that 11th.
Yeah.
That 11th, we embraced that, but they're sitting there and saying, Coach, we think we're better than that. So they said we want to go in the top 9, and I was like, okay. So now they're taking the measures and with the lifting and our speed workouts, like we just had a speed workout today, for example. So they're embracing that and are trying to go. We call it training up, so to speak. And
sure.
Every one of those athletes in our top 7 or our top 12, are training up one one 5K pace above where they're at right now, and it's showing. So we're really excited to go up to Edinburgh on September the 7th.
Well, I think that's one of those things that you always have to weigh. Once you've had that taste of success, are you going to rest on your laurels and just sort of accept it and say, hey, guys, we did pretty good, we made it? Or do you say, how do we get even more success out of that? How do we continue to push ourselves to be better?
Right. Well, it's like I think it's the leadership role. It's a big thing. We got some people in place right now in our leadership role. Between we have the luxury of having swimmers, 2 swimmers on our team that are also running cross country for us, and they're running really, really well. In Letizia Collini and Morgan Megalovitti. I mean, they go by T and Mo. So for me to say,
I was going to say that's probably a little too complex, more complex than you needed to be.
Thanks. And Haley Schaller. So I mean, they were there with that success, and they embraced it, and they're really leading our freshman crew and our sophomore crew as well as our juniors, and they want to take the next steps. So it's pretty cool to see.
And all of those athletes have had success. Another one I want to point out, not that I want to single anybody out, but you have Allison Gates, who was an all-PSAC performer last year in the 10,000 meters. She had been, if I may make the interpretation, maybe a little better as a freshman in cross country than she was last year as a sophomore, but she really picked it up during track season.
Right.
And that seems like that's something to build on going into this year.
It is. I mean, Allison came in. I mean, right now she's right up there with T and Mo, and she's doing some really good things. And she ended up being at 18:35. Actually, she qualified in both the 5K and 10K. She was at 18:35 5K for us going in, and then she ended up being all conference in the 10K. So she's looking in to build from last year and to help carry us, and we're looking for her to be an all conference performer. You know, our goal is to have 3 all conference quarters, whether it be a first team or second team, because top 30 are all conference for us. If we do that, then we're going to be in great position at that conference and regional level.
You mentioned earlier that you're coming off a speed workout, and I think this is a good opportunity to maybe clarify or explain something to some people that don't know much about the sport. I think it's probably easy to assume that, it's cross country, it's long distance running, therefore that must be all that you do. So how do you balance these workouts that are maybe shorter range with higher speeds, maybe ones that are like sort of conditioning, getting stretched out on the course? How do you balance that training regimen?
Well, I mean, what we do here for us is, I mean, every university is different. I mean, but we're going to do what's going to work for us here at Clarion U. All right. We believe in quality over quantity, so to speak. All right. So a big thing for us today was we did a speed work. For example, we did a ladder workout. We did a 400, a 600, an 800, and then we did it back down again. All right, with a 400-meter groove. What we did at rep pace, which is race pace for a 5K race pace. All right, so what we do is we take the 4, the 6, and the 8, and we break it down into what their splits would be for that specific 5K, so to speak. And it worked well. And like I said, a lot of people are on our team right now, are running at, our top girls running at probably a 19:20, and then there's a whole group of 4 of us running in that 19:45 range. Then we got some 25 flat, 20 flat, and 20:20 range. So that's a differentiation between a speed workout, a tempo workout for us. We have 3 different tempo workouts, actually. Okay. But I'll go into the short tempo workout for us is we take that when we're 5K and we add 20 seconds onto that. That's our short tempo pace. An example of that would be like for Saturday we did that would be 1 times 2 mile, and then we jog a mile in between, and then we do 1 times 1 mile. So that's kind of the variation. We go rep, tempo, fast, which is flat out just getting it. So, yes.
So you try to mix these things up, trying to get the mental conditioning, the physical conditioning to different places where they're able to adapt when they're on the court and all sorts, or not the court, the course on all sorts of different situations.
Well, with our athletes is, everybody's a little different. So with distance running, we're allowed to make slight changes for special event areas. Like, say we have an 800 person and a 5K and a 10K. We're all running cross, right? So we try to figure out where their weakness is and where it needs to be, whether it be in the middle of the race or the tail end of the race, which a lot of times right now we're dealing with people right in the middle. So we got to get them to that point to where they're in the middle of the race to where they're hurting enough in these workouts where they can fight through it. So when you get in that situation in a race, they can adapt and overcome that situation, especially for our specialty 800 100-meter runners,
Yeah, when you're trying to get those mid-distance, which are almost essentially long sprints.
Yeah, basically, you're right.
And trying to get them stretched out for a
Right.
5K, especially whenever you're talking about adverse conditions. You're talking about rain. You're talking about mud. As I understand it, this course at Edinburgh that you're going to, this time of year tends to be not so sunny and great.
No, I mean, basically all last year wasn't sunny and great for us.
No.
I mean, we ran in probably 90% of our races in downpour rain. And especially up at conference last year, I mean, it rained for like 7 straight days. It was pouring rain down there. It was just a mud pit. So we're hoping we get a little bit of drier weather up there for that type of starting. But if we don't, we're so used to it. I mean, I called our team Mudders last year because we were just so adapted into that and our strength training and stuff. And that's brings me to Coach Jones. This year he's doing a great job with our cross-country team and adapting them to things. So I think we'll be prepared for any type of situation that we find ourselves in.
Last point that we'll get to here. Cross-country is a sport that always seems to lend itself very well to freshmen being able to come in and make an impact early on. We've
Right.
seen that on this team quite a couple times over the last few years. Who are some of these freshmen? I know you don't like to single anybody out.
Yeah,
you don't want anybody
really.
to feel not included or not mentioned.
One team, right?
One team, one heartbeat, right?
That's it, absolutely.
But you've got some freshmen on this team that you feel like they can make an impact early on.
I do. I mean, we feel like right now the people that are coming on board, our freshman is Natalie Forsyth, who is from Martins Ferry, Ohio, Skylar Spears, who is from Seneca Valley, and Jenna Bartlett, who is coming from down by Bradford. I can't think of her high school name offhand, but she's really come in and adapted in with Skylar and Natalie, and I think they're going to make an impact this year. I think Natalie's going to make an impact right off the bat, and I think Skylar and Jenna are going to come around right about mid-season along with the vets. I mean, our goal as our team is, I mean, if we can get 5, I mean, obviously 5 scores in cross-country for us, with 2 displacements if they're a tie. So our goal, if we can get all 5 of us in within 45 seconds to a minute, then we're going to be right where we need to be. Our goal this year, because we don't really right now have a one clear-cut number 1 runner on our team. So we're really working hard is where 1 goes, 5 goes, and we're going to be up there towards the front, and we're going to battle.
It's that pack mentality.
It's
so important to scoring in that sport, but it's also got to just be for the training, just having people that are willing to work together, train together, push each other to get better. That's so essential.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And the thing that this team, even with the freshman class, with their upper class and our upperclassmen, we just did it. We saw it tonight. We really saw it in our tempo run on Saturday. Was they're starting to really feel each other and feed off each other and get into groups and go together. If it's 2 groups, they know what spacing they need to that first group and that second group need to do, and they're really focused on that. I mean, they're sponges. They're learning very well and very quickly.
Coach, you kick off your season next week. Best of luck to you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, Eric Laughlin, everybody. Eric Laughlin.